Here are the tests on my 2022 American Standard Homestead VorMax Ultra High Efficiency Toilet. So an ultra high efficiency toilet, or UHET, is a toilet that uses 1 gallon or less, whereas a high efficiency toilet uses 1.28 gallons. So this toilet was obviously made to help the environment by only using 1 gallon per flush. It'll also help you with your water bill. So they care about the environment. You only get 1 gallon to flush your toilet, which is less than some urinals. But answer me this: if they care so much about the environment, why did they use this much plastic to package the seat? This is just from the seat. There's this big long string of foam right here, blown by the wind now, and we have this bag that holds the seat and the instructions. Then we have this other bag that also held the seat and some more instructions, and then another tiny bag taped to this bag to hold the hardware. And I didn't mention, but there's yet another bag that held the tank bolts and the bolt caps. So 1 gallon of water to help the environment, also while putting this much waste plastic into the landfills, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Anyway, let's get on with this toilet and see how it does on the tests. There is no water line in the tank or on the flush valve, anywhere for that matter, so I just didn't touch anything and left it how I got it. The bowl rinse on this toilet actually seems very good, which is not surprising since it uses the VorMax design. But the siphon, I'm a little concerned about that. For the first test, let's see if it can take a washcloth. It should do perfectly. Again, I'm not really sure what's up with the weird siphon, but it took it perfectly. Now, let's see if it can take a grocery bag. I'm guessing it will perfect pass. Weird siphon yet again, but it passed perfectly. Now, let's see if it can take the washcloth and the grocery bag together. I think it will pass. No, if it had been 1.28 gallons, it probably would have. I also think you can't hold the handles on these or else you'll have to prime them again, but I'm going to anyway. It took it, but as we know, an overflow is a fail. Let's try the washcloth and the grocery bag again, just to see if we can get a better result this time. I'm also surprised by how quick it was to overflow. Usually you have to flush these low consumption toilets a lot more times to make them overflow, but I guess this one, you don't. It looked like it forced that down with a lot of power, but I guess it didn't get through all the way. And if I drain all the water out of the tank again, it's going to take half an hour to fill up. Seriously though, this fill valve is slow. So that failed again. I would have flushed it some more, but again, I don't want to wait for it to fill up, and it takes forever. And it was just saving you guys another overflow. So anyway, That failed. And now I'm going to try a dish towel. It's definitely going to fail this if it can't take the washcloth in the grocery bag. It's got some force, that's for sure. I'm definitely impressed by the amount of power it has for a 1-gallon toilet, but it just doesn't have enough time in the flush to take all of these large items. So I would not really trust this in a normal setting to do its job. I'm going to angle it, and I'm going to see if it can take it this way. Again, very strong and very fast, but it's clogged. And this thing sprays like it's on a high tank when it overflows. I guess because the tank is so much larger than 1 gallon, I'm actually draining more like 2 gallons or 2.5 gallons, and I suppose that's why it overflows more quickly than other low consumption toilets. So anyway, I'm going to plunge this now. Overall, I would say the performance is pretty average. It's below average for a modern toilet because a lot of modern toilets are actually really good bulk performers, but it's not terrible. For a 1-gallon toilet, for a toilet that flushes on the same amount of water as a urinal, I would say that it did pretty well. So now let's move on to the flush tests. And for the first flush test, I will see how it flushes with a dry bowl. This toilet is already restricted to using a very little amount of water, so I do not think this will go well. It looks cool, but I doubt that would accomplish anything. Now let's see how it flushes without the siphon jet. Since this toilet has 2 flappers, I can just hold one of them up and it will only power this jet here around the sides. So that is what I'm going to do. That was awesome. I'm going to wait for that to fill up, and I'm going to try that with an overfilled tank. It actually overflowed too. That was absolutely amazing. Now, let's see how it flushes with only the siphon jet. I'm guessing it's going to flush a lot like a Glacier Bay toilet. It actually flushes a lot like that 1993 Mansfield Alto that I filmed at that old gas station. All the rim jets were clogged and it just bubbled and then siphoned. So really a terrible flush, but you can't really blame it for that. Now let's see if it can take dirt. Well, I guess we can already see that the bowl rinse is good because of the way it flushes, but none of this is sticking. I'm guessing it will have some problems with bowl clearance, but the rinse is going to be very good. Yeah, that's really quite terrible. I'm going to go ahead and rinse my hand off real quick. I'll be right back to show you guys the results. Alright, let's check this out. So it left a good bit of sediment down in there, which is not desirable. I think it actually shoved some of it into the siphon jet, which is really weird. The rinse I don't really know how much of this I can fault the toilet for, because when you splash water, well, never mind, it does come off. So it looks like it just has sort of a short, weak flush, and that's what caused all of this to stay on the sides. And of course, it does not have very good bowl clearance, or else we would not be seeing all that. So I'm curious whether adjusting those floats would make a difference. I'm definitely going to try it, and if I do that, I might want to put a different fill valve in it. So I'm going to go ahead and set this back up and give you guys a couple more flushes and see if this toilet can clean itself, or if I'll have to clean it by myself. So anyway, here's another flush. Did perfectly with that. Almost. There's just a tiny little bit in the bottom. So with a 2-gallon flush, it clears the dirt out better than most toilets I test, and that's not terrible. However, I think the Project Source Pro Flush Eco did even better than this with only 0.8 gallons per flush. So overall, I would say this is a very interesting toilet. It certainly is not the best, but it's also not the worst. So while I wouldn't recommend it, I also think that the tank parts can be adjusted, and it would probably be a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and do some experimenting with that, and after this I'll probably upload a short if I manage to make it flush better with adjusted tank parts. But for now, that is all for this video. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and turn on notifications. It helps my channel a lot, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next video.